pernicious nature of Thomas Jefferson, whom this space is named for. I'm especially angered, at times at the fact that my only daughter, my baby girl right there, Asada, sitting right there asleep, she was born in a hospital named for this man. This racist, white supremacist, slaveholder, and exploiter of many of our ancestors, including Sally Hemings, which is probably the most famous one. Hashtag say her name, right? Out of respect for our ancestors, and again, this goes back to the African tradition that we come from. Out of respect for our ancestors that lived these brutal and draconian existences, we have to address these historical realities. We would not be riding right if we did not, in my opinion. In order to provide context, I'll read a short passage from a book published by Thomas Jefferson, the only book that he ever published, called Notes on the State of Virginia. If we don't know, he was a vice president, he was a president, then a vice president before that, secretary of state before that, ambassador to France before that, governor of Virginia, and a legislator in Virginia as well. So we can see why his opinions hold so much weight even 2 centuries later. From this text, we see this is how he described black people. Comparing them by their faculties of memory, reason, and imagination, it appears to me that in memory they are equal to the whites. In reason, much inferior. As I think one black could scarcely be found capable of tracing and comprehending the investigations of Euclid, and that in imagination they are all dull, tasteless, and anomalous. To our reproach, it must be said that though for a century and a half we have had under our eyes the races of black and of red men, they have never yet been viewed by us as subjects of natural history. I advance it therefore as a suspicion only that the blacks, whether originally a distinct race or made distinct by time and circumstances, are inferior to the whites in the endowments of both body and mind. It is not against experience to suppose that different species of the same genus or varieties of the same species may possess different qualifications. Again, Thomas Jefferson, Notes on the State of Virginia, published in 1781. Now, Benjamin Banneker, who I'm sure some of us, many of us, if not all, have heard of, Benjamin Banneker responded to him. Benjamin Banneker, of course, was a mathematician, was a agricultural engineer, predating the later George Washington Carver, who also did a lot with agriculture, and even Amilcar Cabral, who was a revolutionary from the West African nation of Guinea-Bissau, who also was an agricultural engineer, who fought against the Portuguese in their revolution so they could get liberated. This was written about Benjamin Banneker in terms of his response to Thomas Jefferson's words. With restrained passion, Banneker chided Jefferson and other framers of the Declaration of Independence for their hypocrisy in detaining by fraud and violence so numerous a part of my brethren under groaning captivity and cruel oppression, that you should at the same time be found guilty of that most criminal act, which you professedly detested in others with respect to yourselves. Talking about the British. So they felt like they were being oppressed by the British and wanted to be free, but yet you still all own slaves. This is hypocrisy. Citing Jefferson's own words from the Declaration, the self-evident truth that all men are created equal